day, grade 12s. Welcome to your next lesson in finance, growth, and decay. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at sinking funds. Now, sinking funds are part of a group of annuities. And annuities is really just like a financial plan. So, sinking fund is a type of annuity in which money is invested in order to buy equipment in the future. There are two types of annuities. There's the future value annuities, and then there are the present value annuities. The future value annuities are used for investments, savings, and sinking funds, for example. In other words, we don't have the money yet. We're saving up for it, or we're investing in a pension plan so that in 20 or 30 years' time we can retire and have lots of money. Or we're saving up for our dream holiday. That is a future value annuity. We don't have the money yet. A present value annuity is used for bonds and loans. There they've given us the money. The bank has loaned us the money, or they've given us the bond money to buy a house or a car or taken out a loan, and now we need to pay it back. So that's the difference between the future value annuities and the bonds now and the present value. We're looking in this lesson at sinking funds, which are specifically savings accounts in order to replace equipment in the future. The future value formula is such: f of v is equal to x times by 1 plus I to the n minus 1 all over I, where f of v is your future value, x is the money invested every period, whether it be quarterly, monthly, annually, whatever, I is your interest rate, and n is your number of payments. Now, don't freak out. Please don't freak out. This formula is on the formula sheet. All you need to know is how to use it. So let's do a couple of examples. So the first example says a company needs to accumulate 100,000 Rand over 3 years in order to replace the office equipment. The interest rate is 5% per annum, compounded quarterly. What payments must be made every quarter? So we've got the formula. It's on the formula sheet. You just need to recognize that future value is equal to x times by 1 plus I to the n minus 1 over I. Now, let's see what information they gave us. They told us they want to accumulate 100,000 Rand. So in the future, they want to have 100,000 Rand available to them. The number of years is 3 years. The number of years is 3 years. But the interest rate is 5% per annum compounded quarterly. So that's 0.05 over 4, because it's quarterly. And since the interest rate is compounded quarterly, that means our payments are going to be quarterly as well. And it gives you another trick. It says what payments should be made every quarter. There you go, 4. So therefore, the total number of payments we're making is 3 times 4, which is 12. So now what we're going to do is substitute all this in to find out the amount of payments, which is our x. Okay, so let's go through this. We've got 100,000 is equal to x times by 1 plus I, which is 0.05 over 4. That's all in a bracket, to the power of 12 minus 1 all over the interest, which is 0.05 over 4. So first I'm going to do is, obviously we want to get x by itself, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this. To get rid of this, I can just times both sides by 0.05 over 4. So I get 100,000 times by 0.05 over 4 is equal to x, and this still becomes 1 plus 0.05 over 4 all to the power of 12 minus 1. And we can just clear it from its previous calculations, so we get a nice clear thing. So we got 100,000, 1, 2, and 3, yep, times 0.05 equals, divided by 4, equals 1,250. So 1,250, let me try again, 1,250 is equal to x times by, let's put this in the calculator, okay, it's clear. So we got 0.05 divided by 4, then we add 1, then we take it all to the power of 12, and we subtract 1. And we end up with 0.16, 0.16, 0.16. So to get x, what are we going to do? We're going to divide both of these sides by 0.16, 0.16, and these cancel. So therefore, your x is going to equal 1250 divided by 0.16, and we end up with 7,812 and 50 cents. 7,812 and 50 cents, which is quite a big amount of money to be paying per month, but we are trying to get up to 100,000 Rand in 3 years with just 5% per annum compounded quarterly. So, fair enough. Let's take another example. Okay, a school buys a photocopier for 80,000 Rand. Whether it's one or two, I'm not sure, but they realize that they will need to replace the machine in 5 years' time. The inflation rate is 7.5% per annum, and the present equipment will depreciate on a reducing balance of 5% per annum. Okay, so let's go through the questions. It first says, find the value of a new machine in 5 years' time. Find the value of a new machine in 5 years' time. So let's think about this. We know that inflation rate is a compound interest because we learned that last year, and it makes sense. So A is equal to P 1 plus I to the power of N. So therefore we can say, okay, the principal is the amount of money we currently paid for it, which was 80,000 Rand, 1 plus the interest rate. Luckily it is just per annum, so it's going to be 0.075, and then the number of years is 5, and we can move the calculator over and we can go right. 0.075 plus 1 all to the power of 5 times by 80, 1, 2, 3, equals 114,850 and 35 cents. So that becomes 114,850 and 35 cents. So what does that mean? That means that in 5 years, I will have to pay out the equivalent of R 114,850.35. Okay, that's what a new machine is going to cost me in 5 years. Now it says find the scrap value of the current machine in 5 years' time. Okay, so let's change the color. Now we've got what? A reducing balance depreciation. And this time it's 5% per annum. Okay, so therefore we've got A equals P 1 minus I to the power of N. Again, this time your principal is going to be 80,000 because that's what we paid originally. 1 minus 0.05 all to the power of 5. If we get out our calculator and we clear stuff, we can go 1 minus 0.05 equals 0.95 all to the power of 5, and then we times it by 80, 1, 2, 3, and that is 61,902 and 48 cents. 61,902 and 48 cents. 61,902 and 48 cents. In other words, if we had to sell in 5 years' time, the selling price of our old photocopier is going to be what? It is going to be 61,902 and 48 cents. Excellent. Let's see what else they ask us. Now they say calculate the amount of money needed to buy a new machine if you sold the old one. So do you agree that the total amount of money that I need to buy the new machine if I didn't have an old machine to trade in 5 years' time would be 114,850 and 35 cents. But I'm going to be trading in my old photocopier and I'm going to get for it 61,902 and 48 cents. So therefore the amount of money I have to raise is the difference between the two. And we go, well, that is 114,850.35 minus 61,902.48, and I get out 52,947 and 87 cents. 52,947 $52,947.82. So that's $52,947.87. That's how much money I have to now save. That's what I need to save for. So the question now is, calculate how much money must be paid into sinking fund monthly if the interest rate is 13% per annum compounded monthly in order to buy the new machine in 5 years' time. So now we're going to be using this formula. Our future value, the amount of money we need to raise, is $52,947.87. X is what we're trying to find out. It's how much we need to save each month. Our interest is 13% per annum, 0.13, but it's compounded monthly, so we're going to divide by 12. Our N is the number of payments, and we're saving for 5 years, but it's compounded monthly, and there are 12 months a year, so that's going to be 60. So now we can put all that in a calculation. We can say, right, we've got F of V, which is $52,947.87, is equal to X times by 1 plus interest, 0.13 over 12, all to the power of 60, minus 1, all over 0.13 over 12. Right, so again we want to get X to it by itself. So what are we going to do? We're going to multiply this side by the denominator. So we've got 52,947.87 times by 0.13 over 12 is equal to X times by bracket 1 plus 0.13 over 12 all to the 60 minus 1. Our trusty calculator. And we multiply. So let's just clear. So we've got 52,947.87 times by 0.13 equals divided by 12 equals. So that's 573.60. 573.60 equals X times by 0.13 divided by 12, add 1 to the power of 60 less 1 is 0.91. 0.91. So now what we need to do is divide both of these by 0.91 to solve for X. Therefore we have that X is equal, and we've got 573.6, oopsie, that didn't go point, 0.6 divided by 0.91 equals 630.33. 630.33. So that's not too bad, hey? So that you could put away for 5 years to get your $52,947.87. But I must admit, this 13% per annum compound monthly is a really good interest rate.